want to invest in stocks but don't think it's possible to do while you're working? Well, today I'm going to show you how I've been doing it for years, even while working a job. Welcome to Expanding Wallet, where we create content designed to help you take control of your money and your future. In today's video, I'm going to share with you a technique that I use to invest in stocks while I'm working. This technique even worked while I was working in a building where my phone didn't work and I had no phone reception. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how I buy and sell stocks while working, and we'll talk about the pros and the cons of this strategy. So let me give you a little bit of background about myself before I jump into this. I started investing into stocks. Actually, back then I was stock trading at 18 years old. I was swing trading. I would buy a stock and then sell it a few days later. And this worked great for me during the summer, but it worked amazing for me during the summer. But once I went to college, it didn't go so great because the stock market crashed. And nothing I had learned up to that point about trading had prepared me for a stock market crash like the one we experienced. So it turned me off a lot from the stock market and I lost a lot of money. So for years, I didn't even invest into stocks. I simply focused on real estate. Fast forward, I eventually decided to get back into the stock market, opened up my stock brokerage portfolio, and I noticed something. Many of the stocks that I had lost money on had actually gone up significantly over those years. And so I decided to change my strategy and started to learn how to be a long-term investor, which means I plan to invest for over a year into a particular company. So that is the strategy that I've been using now for a few years. And that's what this strategy I'm going to talk about has helped me to do while I've been working. Now, before I dive into that strategy, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more empowering tips. All right, so what I use to invest in stocks while working is what's called limit orders. So I'll set up my limit order usually the weekend or even the night before work. Well, and there's two types of limit orders. There's buy limit orders in order for you to purchase stocks, and then there's sell limit orders in order for you to sell stocks. So let's run through the buy limit orders first. Let's assume the stock price right now that we're interested in is at $10. There are two things you have to do with the buy limit order. You have to set the limit order price. So let's assume we set our price at $8, meaning that we want to buy that stock at $8 or lower. So just think about buying something at the store, for instance. You want to buy it as cheap as possible, right? And if you can get a discount, even better. Same with stocks. The second thing that you need to set is you need to set what's called your limit order expiration date. And that's the date at which the buy limit order is no longer effective. So meaning that, let's say we set it for 90 days from today. At 91 days, this limit order will no longer be effective, meaning that it'll be canceled. So regardless of what happens after 90 days, we will not have the ability to use that order anymore. The order will not be useful. So let's do a little test here of your knowledge. What happens if that stock price goes to $9 order after we've placed our limit order and it's still within the expiration date? The answer is nothing happens. You don't purchase that stock, so you still don't own it. So let's just do another test. What happens if it drops to $7.99? Now you do purchase that stock. And so what happens is, how that purchase happens is when you set that limit order, it actually goes to the broker's servers. And so it doesn't matter after you set that limit order what's going on when the price goes within range. You don't technically have to do anything. This happens automatically. And so that purchase happens automatically. So if I'm working and I'm in a place where I don't have access to my phone or maybe not even internet on a computer, after work, I can come home and I can check and I can see, oh, great, like that stock got purchased at the price or lower that I had set, which is awesome, right? So that's how you get in to the stock. Now, how do you get out? Very similar to a buy limit order, you have what's called a sell limit order. And the main difference with the sell limit order is that it will sell at your target price or higher, because again, it goes in the direction that's going to benefit you the most. And so we set again, a limit order expiration date as well as the limit order price, and it works just the same. The limit order expiration works just the same. So once it's past this 90 days, it's no longer going to be effective. So let's just run a couple examples here. So if that stock price drops down to $9.50 and your limit order price is $12, does anything happen? No, stock is not sold. No stocks will be sold. So you still own it. Now, what happens if that stock price jumps all the way up to $15? What happens is that that stock will be sold at $15. And a lot of times how this happens is that sometimes you can have market jumps before the market opens. And most of the times you're setting limit orders within market hours. That's what I do anyways. I actually recommend that because pre-market hours is trading that can happen before the actual market opens, and that can be a little unpredictable. But this is can be helpful when the market opens, and then if the stock price has jumped up to $15, you own it, you sell it at $15, and you've made even more profit than you may have thought you would have. Now, let's jump into the limit order pros and cons. All right, let's talk about the first pro. It's the whole point of this entire video, right? Is that, it's great if you are working and you want to invest in stocks. You have a way to do that, even if you don't have internet access at work. Another pro is that it allows you to avoid fear of missing out, also known as FOMO, and making a bad decision. So for instance, if you're an investor and the stock price happens to drop quickly and you're looking at that, you may get scared and you may sell out of a great stock. And the difference between being a trader and an investor is really that an investor is looking at the company's underlying fundamentals and looking at maybe a more long-term picture for the company, whereas a person trading stocks in and out daily, they're looking at that momentum, that short-term momentum. And so if you're an investor, you want to weather that storm. The other pro is that you can sometimes buy or sell at a really great price. So like in our example before, where you're selling at $15, which is actually well above your $12, you sold it at a great price. And now let's get into the cons. You might never buy or sell the stock if it never goes within your order limit price range. This can be pretty sad if you set your limits too far away from the current price and it just never gets there in those 90 days or whatever you set for your expiration date. And so that actually happens, it can happen quite a lot depending on how much of a deal you're trying to get. So the other con that I see is that the price could skyrocket. Some great news could come out and the price of the stock actually shoots up, let's say like 20%, right? And you might have your limit order set to where you sell at 10%. And you take your 10%, but you look at it and you're like, wow, I could have gained another 10 on top of that. You'll never sell all the way at the top and you'll never buy all the way at the bottom, at least not all the time. So that's okay. And just be happy that you took a profit and your plan, whatever it was that you set for your limit order, that it executed the way you intended for it to execute. So that's just something that you have to live with, and that happens. It's not a big deal. I would not worry about that too much. However, I will put out another video at some point here where I will talk about how do you maximize, get more profit, right? And how you can actually get more profit if something like that does happen, if you notice that momentum, even if you are a long-term investor, and what you can do to capture a bit more profit. I'll probably put that video in the description whenever I publish that. I will probably put that in the description under what to watch next. So that's something to look out for. Okay, guys, I hope you learned something today. And if you have not done so yet, definitely download my 5 Keys to Success guide, where I share with you the mindset for success. Because in many areas of my life, I've transformed my life, and I share with you the tips. I share with you actually actions that you can take to apply these principles that I have learned throughout my life, what I would say are the most important. And I've transformed my life academically, was a full year behind when I was younger in reading, to graduating with one of the hardest degrees. Actually, it was the hardest degree at the university I went to, with a 54% dropout rate. A university with over 50,000 students. I got a biomedical engineering degree. And then it's also helped me financially. I grew up in a family that didn't really know about building wealth and making your money work for you. And so I started educating myself on building wealth and investing in real estate and stocks starting at age 15. And I purchased my first property at 24. And then by 26, I had paid off the money I borrowed to renovate that property, as well as my student loan debts. So these 5 keys will help you in so many areas of your life. And they're even helping me now as I build this business. So definitely get that 5 Keys to Success guide. And remember to learn all that you can, believe in yourself, and take actions that allow you to grow. Thank you.